The world's largest ball of twine sits in Corker City, Kansas. Population 771. The ball weighs over 20,000 pounds. Took a man named Frank Stober 40 years to start it. The town took over after he died. Added to it every year at the Twineathon Festival. Tourists come from all over. Take pictures. Add their own piece of twine. Sign the guest book. Buy postcards. It's kitsch. It's Americana. It's harmless. Except for the missing people. Since 1985, 42 tourists who visited the twine ball never made it to their next destination. They signed the guest book, took their photos, got in their cars and drove away, and vanished. Not all at once, spread out over decades. Easy to miss the pattern, but in 2019, a retired FBI agent named Carol Morrison was driving cross-country, stopped in Corker City, took a photo with the twine ball. She never arrived in Denver. Her daughter reported her missing. Police found her car 3 days later, parked at a rest stop 40 miles away. Keys in the ignition, phone on the passenger seat, door open. No Carol, no blood, no signs of struggle, just gone. Carol's daughter, Emma, couldn't accept it. Her mother was careful, trained, former FBI. She wouldn't just vanish. Emma started digging, found the guest book entries, her mother's signature. July 15, 2019, to 30 p.m. Carol Morrison, visiting from Seattle, happy to finally see this piece of Americana. Emma requested copies of older guest books. The town was reluctant but eventually complied. That's when Emma found it. The pattern. 42 signatures over 34 years. 42 people who signed that book and disappeared within 72 hours. Emma contacted the families. Most had given up hope, assumed their loved ones had accidents, run off, started new lives. But Emma saw the connection. Every single one had touched the twine ball, added their piece of string. The town encourages it. Part of the tradition. There's even a bucket of twine pieces visitors can tie on. Emma drove to Corker City, brought the list, confronted the mayor, said your town has a problem. The mayor, a man named Dale Hoffman, went pale when he saw the names. He tried to dismiss it. Coincidence. People go missing all the time. But Emma had been trained by her mother. She knew when someone was lying. Dale was terrified. She pushed harder. What's really going on here? What's in that ball of twine? Dale looked around, made sure they were alone, sat down heavily, said you need to leave. Right now. Don't touch the ball. Don't add any twine. Just go. Emma refused. My mother is missing. You know something? Dale's hands shook as he poured himself whiskey. It was 10 a.m. He drank it in one swallow. Then he told her. The ball is hungry. Has been since Frank Stober started it in 1953. Frank didn't just wake up one day and decide to roll twine. He found something out in his field. A knot, about the size of a softball, just sitting there in the dirt, grey, pulsing slightly. Frank was curious, picked it up. The moment he touched it, he knew he had to protect it, had to feed it, had to make it grow. He started wrapping twine around it, couldn't stop, worked on it every day for 40 years until he died. And when Frank died in 1974, the town took over. Had to. Because if they didn't, if they let the ball sit too long without growing, people in town started dying. Heart attacks, aneurysms, accidents, all random, all fatal. The town figured it out after 12 deaths in 1 month. So they made it official, made it a tourist attraction, got people to add twine, fed it, and the deaths stopped. But something else started. Tourists began disappearing. Not locals. Never locals, just visitors, people from out of town who touched the ball, who added their string, who gave it what it wanted. Dale said, we didn't understand at first, thought it was coincidence, but then Sheriff Barnes started tracking it. 40 years ago, he kept records, every person who signed the guest book, every person who touched the ball, and every person who disappeared. The correlation was undeniable. The ball takes them. Somehow. We don't know how. Don't know where. But 3 days after touching it, they vanish. Always. Emma felt sick. You've known for 40 years. You've been letting this happen. Dale's eyes filled with tears. What were we supposed to do? Destroy it. We tried. 1982. The sheriff at the time, Barnes's father, he tried to burn it. Poured gasoline on it. Lit a match. The ball wouldn't burn. Gasoline just slid off. They tried cutting it. Chainsaws. Industrial equipment. Nothing worked. The twine was like steel cable. Couldn't be cut. Couldn't be damaged. And when they tried, people died. 23 people in 1 week. All locals. All sudden. Hearts just stopped. The ball was angry. So they stopped trying. Started feeding it again. And it went back to taking tourists. Dale stood. Walked to the window. Looked out at the town square where the ball sat under its pavilion. We're trapped, he said. We feed it or we die. 42 tourists over 34 years. Or 700 locals. What would you choose? Emma had no answer. She left Cauca City that night. Didn't touch the ball. Drove straight through to Denver. Started researching. Found other roadside attractions with similar patterns. The Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. Tourists disappearing since it opened. Not many. 2 or 3 a year. But consistent. Always within days of visiting. Always after touching the corn mosaics on the walls. The world's largest collection of the world's smallest versions. Of the world's largest things in Lucas, Kansas. A museum full of miniature roadside attractions. Visitors went missing. Always after touching the displays. Always within 72 hours. Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. 10 cars buried nose down in the ground. Visitors spray paint them. It's encouraged. Part of the experience. But tourists vanish. Have been since 1974. Emma found a pattern. These attractions started in specific years. Usually after someone found something. An object. Always described the same way. Grey. Pulsing. Warm to the touch. And once found, the finder became obsessed. Had to build around it. Had to create an attraction. Had to draw people. Had to feed it. Emma theorized these objects were related. Maybe from the same source. Scattered across America. Buried. Waiting to be found. And once found, they infected their finder. Made them build. Made them lure. Made them feed. But what were they? Where did they come from? And where were they taking people? Emma found one survivor. Only one in all her research. A man named Richard Pace. He'd visited the twine ball in 1993. Touched it. Added his string. Signed the guest book. 3 days later, he disappeared. His family reported him missing. But 6 months later, Richard came back. Walked into his house in Phoenix like nothing had happened. No memory of 6 months. No explanation. But he was different. Wouldn't talk about it. Refused therapy. Just said don't go back there and don't touch roadside attractions. Emma tracked Richard down. He was living in Flagstaff. Working as a mechanic. When she showed up at his shop, Richard dropped his wrench. You've touched one, he said. It wasn't a question. Emma shook her head. My mother did. She's missing. Richard closed his eyes. I'm sorry. She's gone. Emma grabbed his arm. Where? Where do they go? Richard pulled away. Somewhere else. Not here. Not anywhere on Earth. It's a collection point. A holding facility. For processing. Emma felt cold. Processing for what? Richard looked at her with dead eyes. We're specimens. Resources. They came here a long time ago. Scattered these seeds. These attractors. They pull in the curious. The explorers. The wanderers. People who seek out the weird. The unusual. Those are the ones they want. Once you touch an attractor, you're marked. Tagged. And 3 days later, you're pulled through. Harvested. Emma asked who they are. Richard shook his head. I don't know. Never saw them. Just the place. White walls. Hundreds of people. Thousands maybe. All standing in rows. Motionless. Alive but not. Conscious but frozen. I was there for what felt like years, but it was 6 months here. And then suddenly I was back. Standing in my driveway. No explanation. But I remember them looking at me. Studying me. And I remember the pain. They took something. Not physical. Something else. Part of my mind. My memories. Myself. I'm not the same person I was. Richard told Emma not to look for her mother. She's not coming back. And if she does, she won't be her anymore. They take something essential. Leave a shell. I only came back because I was defective. Broken. Not useful. Your mother was FBI. Intelligent. Capable. They'll keep her. Emma refused to accept it. Started a blog. Posted everything she'd found. The patterns. The attractions. The missing people. The attractors. Within a week, the blog was taken down. Emma received a visit. 2 men in suits. No badges. No IDs. Just a warning. Stop investigating. Stop posting. Forget what you found. Emma asked who they were. The men didn't answer. Just left a folder. Inside were photos. Emma at her apartment. Emma at the grocery store. Emma's brother at his school. Emma's father at his office. The message was clear. Emma went quiet. Deleted everything. Stopped researching. But she couldn't stop thinking about it. How many attractions? How many scattered across America? How many people vanished every year? She started noticing things. Small roadside oddities. The biggest ball of stamps. The largest ball of paint. Giant statues. Mysterious monuments. All of them old. All of them with histories of people touching them, photographing them, interacting with them, and all of them with missing persons reports nearby. Not always obvious. Spread out over years. But there. Always there. Emma realized the scale. This wasn't dozens. This was thousands. Tens of thousands maybe. Spread across the entire country. A network of attractors pulling in the curious. Feeding something. Building something. Collecting something. Last summer, Emma took a road trip. Against her better judgment. She had to see. Had to know. She visited 12 attractions in 2 weeks. The world's largest fork in Springfield, Missouri. The giant ball of rubber bands in Oregon. The mystery spot in California. The thing in Arizona. The coral castle in Florida. Every single one had the same feel. Wrong off. And at each one, she found it. Hidden. Buried inside the attraction. A grey pulsing mass. The attractor. The seed. Always concealed. Always protected. Always hungry. Emma didn't touch any of them. Took photos from a distance. Documented everything. On her last stop, the Cadillac Ranch, Emma met someone. An old woman. Sitting on the ground near the cars. Just watching. Emma approached carefully. The woman looked up. "You can see them too," she said. "The seeds." Emma froze. "You know what they are?" The woman nodded. "I've been tracking them for 50 years. Since my husband disappeared at the Corn Palace in 1973. There are 247 confirmed attractors across the United States. Maybe more. They're spreading. New ones appear every few years. Someone finds something in the ground, gets infected, builds an attraction, and the cycle continues. Emma sat down next to her. "What are they building?" The woman pulled out a notebook, worn, filled with notes and drawings. "I call them nodes. Collection points. They're networked, connected underground somehow. All feeding into something central, something big. I think they're building a doorway. Or maybe they've always had a doorway, and these are just harvest points. Either way, they take people, thousands of them, and those people go somewhere we can't follow." The woman's name was Margaret Aldrich. She devoted her life to tracking the attractors, mapping them, warning people, but nobody listened. Roadside attractions are beloved. Kitsch fun. Who wants to hear they're dangerous? Margaret showed Emma her map. pins across the entire country, concentrated in the Midwest and Southwest, but spreading to the coasts, and the disappearances were accelerating. Used to be 1 or 2 per attractor per year. Now it was 5 or 6. The attractors were getting stronger, hungrier. Margaret said something's changed in the last decade. They're more active, more aggressive. I think whatever they're building is almost complete. Emma asked what happens when it's complete. Margaret closed her notebook. I don't know, but I don't think it's good for us. Emma spent 3 days with Margaret, learning everything. The warning signs, how to identify new attractors, how to track disappearances, how to spread the word without getting shut down. Then Margaret said something that terrified Emma. Your mother isn't the only FBI agent who's disappeared. There have been 7 in the last 5 years. All visited attractions. All vanished. Someone is targeting law enforcement. People who might investigate. People who might uncover the truth. Emma realized her mother hadn't stumbled into this. She'd been researching, following a case, and whatever she'd found got her taken. Emma asked if Margaret had a theory. Margaret said yes. But you won't like it. The government knows, has known for decades. They let it happen, maybe even facilitate it. Think about it. These attractions are on public land or privately owned, but publicly accessible. Nobody stops them. Nobody regulates them. Nobody questions when tourists disappear. It's the perfect system. A deal. We get cheap entertainment. They get specimens. And the government stays quiet. Emma returned home. Started digging into her mother's files. Carol had kept everything digital, encrypted. Emma spent 2 weeks breaking the encryption. Found her mother's investigation. Carol had been tracking federal involvement. Found documents, budget allocations, black site funding, a program called Harvest Management, established 1952, right before the attractors started appearing. Carol had been close to exposing it. Then she disappeared. Emma copied everything to multiple drives, sent copies to journalists, to whistleblowers, to anyone who might listen. Most ignored it. Too crazy. Too unbelievable. But one journalist, a man named Thomas Gray, responded, said he'd heard similar stories, wanted to meet. Emma agreed. They met at a diner in Nevada. Thomas showed her his research. He'd been investigating disappearances near Area 51. Tourists who got too close, who took photos, who asked questions, all vanished. But he'd found something else, a connection to roadside attractions. Area 51 had been built near several early attractors. The mystery spot, the thing, sites that predated the base. Thomas believed the base was built there because of them, to study them, to control them, maybe to use them. Emma showed Thomas her mother's files. Thomas went pale. This is bigger than I thought. This is proof of a government program, a conspiracy spanning 70 years. If we publish this, we're dead. Emma said we have to try. People need to know. Thomas agreed. They spent a month preparing, building a case, gathering evidence, ready to publish. The night before they were set to release everything, Thomas died. Carbon monoxide leak in his apartment. Ruled accidental. Emma knew better. She went into hiding, changed her name, moved every few months, kept copies of the evidence hidden, safe, waiting for the right moment. That was 3 years ago. Emma is still alive, still moving, still watching. She monitors the attractions, tracks the disappearances, and she's noticed something new. The attractors are multiplying faster. 3 new ones in the last year alone. A giant spool of thread in Nebraska, a house covered entirely in bottle caps in Missouri, a 20-foot tall garden gnome in Iowa. All built by people who found something, all drawing tourists, all taking people. Emma estimates at this rate, there will be 500 attractors by 2030. Thousands of disappearances per year, and nobody notices because they're spread out, isolated, individual tragedies. But together, it's a mass harvesting. Emma doesn't know what the end game is. doesn't know who or what is behind it, but she knows it's accelerating, building towards something, and when it happens, when whatever they're building is complete, she thinks it won't just be tourists anymore, it'll be everyone. The attractors will activate, pull everyone nearby, cities, towns, entire populations, harvested, processed, taken somewhere else, for something we can't comprehend. Emma has left instructions. If she disappears, her evidence goes public, automatically uploaded to 1,000 sites, impossible to suppress. But she knows it might not matter. By the time people believe her, it might be too late. Last month, Emma drove past Corker City, didn't stop, just drove slowly, looked at the twine ball from the road. It's bigger now, significantly bigger, growing faster than it should even with the annual twine-a-thon. Emma thinks it's feeding itself now, pulling people even without direct contact. The whole town is an attractor now. She checked the records. Corker City's population has dropped by 100 people in 5 years. The locals are being harvested too. The deal has changed. Emma kept driving, has a list of 12 more attractions to document, 12 more warnings to spread. She knows she can't save everyone, can't stop what's coming, but she can warn people, tell them don't touch, don't interact, don't feed the attractors, and for God's sake, don't visit roadside attractions in small towns. They're not harmless kitsch, they're bait, traps, harvest points for something ancient and hungry, something that's been here long before us, something that considers us resources, property. Emma's mother is gone. The 42 tourists are gone. The thousands of others are gone, taken to a place we can't reach, processed for purposes we can't understand, and more disappear every day, lured by the world's largest this or smallest that, by curiosity, by wonder, by the very human desire to see something strange. Emma doesn't visit roadside attractions anymore. And if you're smart, neither will you. Because the next time you see a giant ball of twine or rubber bands or yarn, the next time you see a mystery spot or a thing or a coral castle, remember, someone built that. Someone who found something. Someone infected. And that attraction isn't for you. It's for them. It's a mouth. And it's hungry. And if you touch it, you have 3 days. 3 days before you vanish. Before you're pulled through to wherever they take us. Before you become another statistic. Another missing person. Another harvest. So drive past. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't touch. Don't feed the attractors. Your life depends on it.